Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz, guys. Welcome to episode 208 of the Untapped Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, first of all, thank you. We actually have 5 main formats of our show. So first, we have 1442 episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the mental side of our brand. In these ones, we go over our anecdotal experiences with things like mindset and mentality. We then pass on tips and advice to you guys. Hello, Kat. For those of you on video, you just saw that. To you guys to then apply to your own lives. Next, we have physical vitality episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the physical side of our brand. In these ones, we really get to showcase our expertise because you have 2 certified personal trainers here. Now, in these physical vitality episodes, we cover everything that we offer through our Untapped training, which is powered by the First Form Performance platform. In addition to that, we cover everything to do with the gym, workouts, diet, nutrition, supplements, and sometimes we will take training articles or topics within the fitness industry and give our thoughts and opinions on those. Now, again, this is our bread and butter. This is what we do. This is our expertise. So make sure you pay attention.
Love it, bro. Excited to get into another one today. Guys, we have our third format as well. That is our breaking news format. Format is a current event-based format. We touch on current events, current articles going on in today's world. Now, keep in mind, like a lot of other shows, or unlike a lot of other shows, I should say, Cat Deposit, we do not talk about the doom and gloom of these situations. We talk about the solutions you as an average citizen like us in here can provide to those. Now, we also have our fourth format. That is our Knights Table format. It is a masculinity-based format. We touch on male-based topics in general. This is a very big and important topic to us because we throw men's workouts twice a month here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you guys are ever interested in joining in that. Now, keep in mind, all 3 of us in here are not perfect men, and we never will be. The only perfect man to ever walk this earth is Jesus Christ. Now, on to our 5th format. That is our guest format. We sit down with entrepreneurs, fitness professionals, athletes, doctors, anybody with a great story, or somebody who brings you value of some sort. We learn a lot from these episodes. In turn, you will also learn a lot from these episodes. I don't know if that's picking up on the mic for you at all, but anyways, guys, our last thing to introduce before the fact of the day, the main content of the episode, is our producer and my brother, Mitch and Gabel.
What's cracking?
What's up, dude?
Nothing.
Feet are up. We're relaxing. Coughing up a storm.
Yeah, apparently.
Allergic to the cat, maybe?
No, he got into the cigs recently.
Yeah,
that's true.
Big American Spirit guy.
Yeah. I did see him in a gas station the other day ripping some. Yeah. Or buying some.
It was like some greasy, like rundown gas station probably.
Oh,
too.
Yeah. And it was like the $1 cigarettes too.
No,
bro, what are you doing?
Blue Camels are bust. Come on.
Interesting. No American Spirits for you.
Yeah, I would say that's like the natural cigarettes, isn't it? At least be healthy with your
You're
cigarettes,
asking me
right?
like I smoke
Blue
cigarettes.
Camel?
I think American Spirits are the natural ones. Somebody said that to me once, and I was like, you could be lying to me right now, and I don't know.
Black and Milds?
Yeah, you could be bullshit. There's a
certain population
that likes the Black and Milds. Yes. Yeah, that is correct.
Anyways. So, Money Mitch, fact of the day. What do you got for us?
I got one.
Okay.
Do you want it?
I would like it.
Okay. So, did you know Dean, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name, Dean Karnazes owns the world record for the longest nonstop run. He ran nonstop for 80 hours and 44 minutes and covered 350 miles.
What the shit?
You said 354 miles?
350.
350.
What a
80
scumbag.
hours, 44 minutes.
What an absolute dirtbag.
What? Is he American? Dean?
I mean, I would imagine I could look this guy up.
Wow.
Okay, so on that note, I forgot this guy's name. It's Andy something. You know the Eli Wiebe guy from First Form? He's an ultramarathoner too. Yeah, like mixed guy. Yeah. He runs with this guy named Andy who posts his runs on TikTok for ultramarathons. And he's done, him and Eli did like a 250 together. They've done 100 together, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty, like at 350, because Andy and Eli on the 250 run, there was like multiple times where these guys were like hallucinating on the run.
Sure, dude.
Because it was overnight. Like they're not really getting good sleep. They're kind of hearing things and all this stuff. Like, and you go 350
That's insane.
for 80 hours.
And
I
like
mean,
that indicates that like he literally did not stop. Like that is crazy.
oh, it's
And
absolutely nuts.
To add to what you were just saying, like Goggins has talked about that type of stuff too.
Yeah.
The hallucinations. Wow, that's insane.
Well, what's crazy, one of my clients, some of you guys have seen him on my stories as well. His name's Kyle. He actually ran an ultramarathon for the first time now 3 months ago. It was a 100-miler, which nuts. I mean, super low mileage, right? But apparently it was one that had, I mean, he said he was like, I don't know, every 20 miles. I'm going to butcher this. I'm going to entirely butcher this. You'd have to ask him. But I think it was like every 20 miles was like 2,000 to 4,000 feet of elevation gain or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like listening to him talk about this. I'm like, bro, this is insane. And by the way, he's a strong dude too. So like he's like what you would consider a hybrid athlete for sure.
Yeah.
He's very strong, but he's also like very good at running and just nuts. Like, it was mind blowing to hear about it and like pick his brain on it and stuff like that. It's insane, dude.
Yeah, that's wild. Good fact, Mitch.
Yeah,
good
really,
one
that was
there.
an awesome one. Yeah.
Couple notes. Obviously, you mentioned the men's workouts. We are a couple weeks removed from our Untapped Ultimate Frisbee game, which was a ton of fun. Thank you to all of you that came out and participated in that and had fun with us that morning. It was a blast.
Oh my gosh.
If you guys have not yet, there is a YouTube video out. Our boy Aim was there to film for us, put together the video. It looks fantastic. Get to see a lot of the highlights of the game and got to see who the winner was. Team Wurtz was Team Gabel. You know?
You don't want to say it on the pod?
I don't want to say it on
You
the
don't want to say it on the pod?
Hey, I still won the Thanksgiving game. Just saying.
I know, that's a big one.
It is a
I
big
got to take it this year for sure.
Oh, well.
Although if we have a big turnout.
You can't have a first round exit then.
Yeah,
So.
seriously. Oh my gosh, yeah. That's a whole thing. Hey, we did put up a good game. At least your guys' first game with Mr. Thomas's team, Mr.
True.
JT's team. Oh my, that was a slaughtering you guys did to them.
It was.
Yeah.
And that, like the Thanksgiving game, like if you guys weren't there last year or you didn't watch the YouTube video from that, like what made that fun is we had multiple teams. So we had like a tournament essentially.
Yes.
And so it added layers to the whole thing. You know, this was just one team versus one team because Ultimate Frisbee, you know, you can kind of play with a bigger group of guys and just keep it to two teams. But it was a blast. We had a great turnout for the Frisbee game.
Yeah.
Everybody seemed to enjoy it. Good cardio, just good fun. Good way to spend a Saturday morning for sure.
I would have probably said if we would have had somewhere around like the 28 plus mark, we could have done 4 teams again.
We would have had to.
100%. We could, for sure. But with, you know, what we have, 20, 18, whatever it was.
I think we started
18.
with 18.
Yeah, it was 18. So 909 was perfect in that scenario too. And keep in mind, by the way, guys, on this note, like these events, we want to keep building on them. Thanksgiving football game's like the big one for us, truthfully, just because it's Thanksgiving. It's, you think football. It's
Thanksgiving
awesome.
and football. That's right.
But we want to keep doing this, like Frisbee, football, hopefully some other events so we can get some equipment for them. Right. Honestly.
Well, we've got some non-sport, related ideas too for big group activities that we're,
100%.
That we're looking at down the road. And then one other quick announcement for myself, pretty exciting. Actually, when you guys are hearing this, I am no longer a part of the corporate world. Hey, it's just a fact.
It's true. It's true. This is a funny way to put it, but it's true.
Right.
Yeah.
So I am. I'm going full-time videography content for businesses, gyms, people. Whether you're a local business or a little bit bigger than that, just get a hold of me, DM me, text me, whatever. I am very excited to be taking this next step in my personal chapter, but it also will allow a lot more dedicated energy, focus, and time for Untapped as well. So those of you that are our clients on the app, and then everything you see that we put out as well, just more dedicated time from both of us, which is very, very exciting. But yeah, no, I'm pumped to be taking this big leap. It's been a long time coming. And I'm very, very excited. So for any content needs, guys, hit me up. I would love to do some work with you.
We do have we will be vendors at the S2 barbecue coming up August 22nd as well. So keep that in mind for late August, guys. August 22nd, we're going to be a vendor there. If you want to come around, do some events, maybe win some free training and all this type of stuff we're going to put on. It's going to be awesome.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
2 p.m., yes.
Is the time for the event. It is at the St. Peter's S2 location. I'm not sure if you said that or not, but
I did not.
The St. Peter's S2 location for the St. Louis S2 Customer Appreciation Barbecue. Yeah, so we will be there. The Iron Hive, where Gable trains in person, will also have a table, hopefully right next to us as well. There will be tons of vendors, tons of fun. I'm sure there's free food and stuff like that as well, giveaways, that type of stuff. So no cost, of course, but come out, say what's up to us, hang out for a little bit, and we'll have some fun. It'll be a great day.
Yep.
Great day. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So let's hop in to episode 208 here. Another physical vitality, probably a top 3 question that gets asked to coaches and trainers
Mhm.
is, can I train without pain?
And
That rhymed.
yeah, you're so happy about that. Can I train without pain? It sounds like an infomercial or something like that.
No,
100%.
literally. Wegovy commercial going on here or something.
That's actually, wow, that's a great comparison. 100% it is, actually. I hate how accurate that is, but it's by the way, it's a great question. I mean, because
it is,
people,
a very valid one too,
people want to avoid, everybody always hears, we've talked about this before, everybody hears the over 25, over 30 thing where you're like, oh, everything starts hurting. You know what I mean? Everything's in pain. I'm always aching on my knees. I'm always aching on my back, shoulders, etc. Those are classics. Some people are ankles, feet, that type of stuff too. And it's a fair question. And it's also a nuanced question to answer on our end of things, to where it is not a black and white yes or no.
Yeah.
That's at least my stance on it. That's our stance on it as Untapped. And is there ways to absolutely make yourself more resilient? Yes. Is it possible to just avoid injury altogether? Maybe not. And we will get into that a little bit here for sure.
Certainly not avoid pain altogether.
Mm-hmm.
You could be lucky and avoid injury altogether. There's definitely some luck that goes into that as far as that goes.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, to train completely 100% pain-free, highly unlikely and damn near impossible as far as that goes. And I guess we could start by defining what pain-free could mean. I think most people, they take that very literally. Can I work out without my back hurting? Can I work out without my low back hurting? Can I work out without my knees cracking and hurting and all this type of stuff? Avoiding general aches, pains, soreness, that type of stuff.
Yep.
Pretty much the straight answer is just no. As you can kind of gather from our introduction here, like, it's just not possible. And especially if you are someone that takes your training seriously and you put actual intent towards it. Now, we're not saying you need to train until you hurt, like, that's not at all what we're trying to say here or what I'm trying to say here. But if you are training with any semblance of intensity, you are going to get sore. You are going to have aches. You are going to have pains. You might develop injuries. It's just kind of a part of the fitness process, and, we've said it many times, like, people and their bodies are not symmetrical. Everyone has different deficiencies. That's just, you're born that way. You grow up playing a sport and you're dominant on one side compared to the other. Maybe you're a pitcher and you're a right-handed pitcher, like your right arm, your right shoulder, your right lat, things like that. They're going to be stronger. They're going to be bigger, but your left side might be a little bit more mobile, because it's not used as frequently in that same motion repetitively, and that's just one example. But you could down the road develop injuries on that dominant side. I had that happen to me personally, and that was as early as high school. I still have a knot on my arm right here from that, and does it bother me anymore? No. When I feel myself tightening up, I know how to fix that, and that's just because over the course of the years, the experience, the trials and errors and things like that, like, I know how to fix those smaller issues, but the straight answer is just no.
Yeah. And that would be the clearest response for sure. Now, like I said, building resiliency is very possible to where you can absolutely limit. You can be somebody who is training almost entirely like, okay, you have a little bit of soreness, but that's really what you're limited to for the most part. And like Wurtz said, guys, by the way, this is very, very anatomical based conversation, is very an individual based conversation too. Especially, if you're somebody, one of our online clients or one of our good buddies as well, Sam James, he is a guy who tore both his ACLs and his knees when he was playing lacrosse growing up.
Former guest, by the way.
Former guest, correct. Is that episode like 23? Am I right on that?
Even that late?
Oh my gosh.
It was early that we had him.
Jeez.
Anyway, continue on here.
I don't know if we want to encourage people to watch the video of that, how crappy that was.
That was
but the listens,
early days.
By the way, the listen's still great.
Yes,
all day long,
yes.
the listen's still great.
Early days of the podcast. Goodness.
Fact check me on the 23 there. I'm really curious if I got that right, actually. But anyways, it is a very anatomical conversation. In Sam's case, he's a guy, we have to work around it. Like, a lot of times, he doesn't himself respond well to barbell training in general or training with the barbell overall. So he's a guy who we focus a lot of dumbbell work and a lot of machine work and whatnot on both his upper body and his legs compared to other clients as well. There are some clients that still love to train with barbells and they do really well with it, so did I get it?
Episode 23 featuring Sam Janes, young entrepreneur, men's mental health, and taking the hard path. There you go.
Sounds like a pretty good title to me.
May 20th, 2022. Over 4 years ago.
Oh, let's go.
That's wild.
That's sick. Sam's going to love that when he listens to this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is a very fair answer. And again, the funny thing too about the anatomical thing to where you're dominant on one side as well, the conversation there, I'll hit on that real quick, is sometimes as well, it's not even the dominant side that is the one having issues. Sometimes it can be the side that's just less used because it actually needs the strength and mobility on that side as well. So it might be lacking.
Yeah.
Funny enough, like that is a very common trend I see in-person clients as well when you're working with that. They might be a right-handed person and they're having issues on their left hand.
Sure.
And it's very odd, but then you'll have another person who has issues in their right-handed and they have it on their right side, but then their left's okay on the shoulder. So again, it's such a conversation to where it's all over the place. And that's why, and the nice thing is like working myself in person around a lot of chiropractors and physical therapists and whatnot, this is what's cool about this conversation is it kind of gives a little bit of a perspective as well on this. To where, for example, sometimes when I was at Health Source, the chiropractic office, still working there while doing side work for Untapped and Iron Hive, that was fascinating because sometimes people's backs weren't actually injured. I mean, oftentimes actually, they weren't actually injured. It was just a guarding mechanism from the back. So the back would send pain to that area. So you would not do a certain motion with that.
Yeah.
So you would not actually injure it from that point on. Right. So sometimes it's a protective mechanism too from it as well. Now, again, when we talk about pain-free and whatnot, what gives you a better chance of avoiding pain is actually strength training and actually doing exercise.
Right.
Like absolutely does, because like we've talked about, tendons, ligaments, and also bones become more resilient from that too, which is a better way to make yourself pain-free. So you basically go through the hard of having the soreness to hopefully avoid the actual injuries that occur with that too.
Right.
There's also the aspect about injuries as well, to where you will see, there's research on this, to where somebody with a herniated disc or a torn rotator cuff, for example, you will see, and I'm not going to give you the exact number because I'm not sure of the exact number, but it's a high percentage of people that have herniated disc and they have no symptoms. They have no pain from it. They have no issues from it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they're the 20, 30%, let's say, that do have symptoms from that, and that needs to be treated on that end of things, same way. And then same thing with torn rotator cuff. There's a ton of people that, especially 50 plus, you look at their rotator cuffs and the damage in them looks catastrophic, but they're having no symptoms from it.
Right.
So on the same end of things there's a very interesting discussion there, to where a lot of the times, again, if you train that area or train the surrounding areas around issues like that and strengthen those surrounding areas on both sides of the body, you usually can have really good success limiting a lot of pain. A good example is when I had sciatica back in January 2024. My whole left leg was numb from it. Basically, a whole nerve injury on my left side.
It was wild.
I couldn't even calf raise on my left side because I had no use of my left leg. Basically, I had to damn near drag it behind me.
Right.
I mean, that's almost what it looked like.
Zombie walk everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, probably looking an idiot. But I mean, with consistent work over at Health Source and whatnot, and taking care of that for about a month and a half or so, it started going away. And then I started dedicating my training actually to more dedicated stuff on my posterior chain, on that low back as well. And that made my low back more resilient. And I just have a little bit of stiffness. And as long as I stay mobile and continue doing that, it is a almost non-factor for me in general.
Well, and so a lot of what you're talking about too goes into the conversation of volume and intensity control, which would aid in the resiliency factor that you've mentioned. And by the way, that we have talked about many times throughout Physical Vitality episodes, is building resilience, but that's why, if you have real problems, obviously, we're going to recommend that you go see a good chiropractor, one that is motion first for rehabilitation and things like that, rather than just cracking your back. And
movement first, especially.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
PT, same
or
thing.
PT. Yeah. And that was going to be my next point. But to keep yourself out of those offices, following dedicated strength training programs is a great way to build that resilience that we're talking about here. And why I say a good quality, specific to you strength training program is because we can control like if you're following our programs that we build for you, we will control the volume and the intensity for you. So you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to walk into the gym like, should today be a high intensity day?
Is it an 8 out of 10 day?
Yeah,
is
right.
it a sub-maximal 6 out of 10 day?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We do that thinking for you,
Mhm.
and if it's not working, then okay, we make adjustments,
Mhm.
But that's probably the number one way that you can keep yourself out of trouble, essentially, with real problems, is following dedicated programs that work for you, that are dedicated to you. Whether your goal is to stay injury-free or your goal is to lose weight or whatever, it doesn't matter. But we can control those things for you to keep you out of those offices and keep you as close to pain-free as possible, but more importantly, keep you injury-free, because that's the key.
Yeah. I honestly, on that same note of volume and intensity as well, because I'll kind of circle back here a little bit. Oh, see ya. Fumble. But on that same note of volume and intensity, I'll kind of circle this all into one point here. Body composition is a big one too. So body composition, if you're somebody who is 270 pounds, as we've talked about before, if you're ripping rucks right off the bat, 3+ miles just every single day with 40 pounds on your back, that's not really great volume or intensity control at that point in time.
No, that's going to take a toll on you fast.
100%.
Fast.
And that's, by the way, that can go similarly with strength training. If you ramp it up way too fast when you have too much body fat as well, that can also be a big strain on the body.
Yeah.
Just on the other side of things, when you have a lack of skeletal muscle mass as well, which that's a problem too, on this same line. That's also why, again, if we tailor a custom program towards somebody or in-person work with somebody, you tailor that towards their needs that way. You don't just be like, well, everybody's at 4 sets on this movement and it's got to be 9 out of 10 intensity.
Right.
Well, what if this lady, let's say Susan over here, had a full spinal fusion when she was 50 years old 10 years ago?
Right.
Okay, well, we probably shouldn't be pushing her 9 out of 10 intensity for her first session. That's probably not a smart idea, right? So that's, again, it goes back to actually our conversations in our previous physical vitality episodes after 200 now, to where it's got to be smart. It's got to be very detailed with how you deliver these volume intensities. And also a common trend recently with our clientele, both in person and then on my end of things, and then also the online side of things with Untapped, a common thing recently has been with a lot of our clients, probably at least 4 or 5 of them I can list off my head, have been asking for just like more things to do. And I have to explain, sometimes less is more.
Absolutely.
In the case of strength training, sometimes less is more. I would rather you do 2 sets of heavy RDL that are quality sets at a heavy weight and are difficult for you than I would rather you do 5 sets.
Yeah.
I really would.
Yeah.
And obviously depending on the person once again.
Sure.
But that is a great example there of like, okay, we can tailor this back and you can still get really good results. You don't necessarily need to be doing 5 sets here.
Yeah.
And by the way, especially if we're talking 35, 40-year-olds as well, which is also a good portion of our clients too, if you're talking in that scenario, oftentimes at that age, less really is more.
Yeah.
A lot of the times.
Well, and also keep in mind, guys, we're talking about working sets. So we're not just saying 2 sets total of RDLs in your example there.
Yeah, you're doing the bar for count those for 2 sets.
Like that's not your first set. It could be, I suppose. It could be. So I won't knock that completely. But we're talking working sets. 5 working sets at a 4 to 5 RPE could be less beneficial than 2 working sets at an 8 to 9 RPE. That's what you're saying here.
Yeah. And the thing is, I've seen some people do 4 sets and they're trying to get to the 8 to 9 RPE.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
Is the quality on the last 2 as high as it was the first 2? Is going to be the question mark there.
And there are times where 4 sets at 8 to 9 can absolutely be useful, especially like if you're training athletes in off season, like that could be money.
Oh, sure.
Not even could be, that is money.
Yeah.
Okay. And even for Gen Pop who are not athletes, there are still times within the program, especially within a macro cycle of a year, where that is useful. Okay. But we're talking about your everyday lifts. Do not need to be 4 sets of 8 to 9 intensity. They just don't need to be.
100%.
Because the longer that you do that over the course of a program, over the course of a year, of 6 months or whatever, the longer you do that, the more you put yourself in jeopardy of potentially getting hurt. Going past the just having some pain, just having some soreness, but you're actually going into the potential of injury. If you're doing that for 6 months straight, every single day is 8 to 9 RPE out of 10, by the way. If you don't know a rating of perceived exertion, it's a 1 to 10 scale. 10 being the hardest.
10 being essentially impossible.
Yeah, right. That's where you can get yourself in trouble. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and here's the thing. On that same line of things as well, if we're talking about, let's say, junk volume, and you think you're going that 8 or 9 RP, let's say you're doing 25 sets in workouts in general, working sets and workouts.
Sure.
Over time, what's going to basically run you down or wear you down more over that period of time compared to doing a quality 10 sets in a workout, for example? Let's say those 10 sets are extreme quality and really high level stuff. It's the idea of dosing the strain properly so you can have the adaptability that comes along with the stimulus you receive from these workouts.
Right.
So instead of just doing, and we had a guy, you remember this story, that was doing 30 to 45 working sets in a workout, and he developed rhabdo from it. And again, that's not everybody's going to develop rhabdo from doing that, but they're definitely going to be worn the hell down. For sure.
Give a quick explanation of what that is.
Rhabdomyolysis is basically like your bleeding muscle mass is essentially what's happening.
Your muscles essentially turn to liquid.
Yeah, you basically melt them. Yeah. It can actually be very deadly if you do not get on top of it very quickly.
And that's a real thing, by the way. We're not like, that's what happens.
Yes. And a separate example is Jordan Shatley, one of our previous guests as well. He had that from one of a Murph workout, but I think that was he could tell you like that was an overtime buildup from previous workouts up to the Murph workout. And the rhabdo occurred from the Murph workout he did. He can,
it's kind of like the final straw.
Yeah. And shout out Chatley, he's the man.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's so. Again, like that's where we're talking. Like properly dosing the actual strain in the workout is very important because that creates resiliency compared to just running somebody into the ground junk volume wise. And again, like you said, off season is a great example. Like off season college football programs are a phenomenal example of this.
Yes.
These kids are doing an ass load of work.
Yeah.
We're talking counting practice and counting conditioning and strength. You're talking like 4 to 5 hours a day in these fields for it. So it's possible, but these are kids that are already used to this coming into high school and or if they're already at college at this point in time.
Yeah.
You being somebody who hasn't lifted for, let's say, 5 years or something like that, that's not an intelligent starting point at all. Or you being, let's say, 45, you still consider yourself an athlete at that point in time. And you're somebody who's active, but not anything crazy or anything like that. That also is not smart in that scenario.
Correct.
It is actually the smarter at the 2 really quality sets. Some people can even do 1 really quality set, and that'd be a really beneficial thing too on a movement. And again, like the total workout might look like 8 sets, for example, in that scenario.
Right.
And it's like each of those movements you do, or let's say it's a superset in each movement, whatever it is unbelievably quality.
Yeah.
It's high level, you're pushing yourself, and then your recovery is better. Because the amount of strain on your body was lower.
Right. And that's a great workout.
Yeah.
That's a great workout.
It is.
Yeah. So let's real quick to round this out. Let's touch on the mental side of this, of the training pain-free conversation that we're having here. Can pain be made up? Can it be fake in the mind?
Can it be exacerbated would be a word in the mind too. And the answer to that would be yes.
100%.
Absolutely. It's the idea of being a hypochondriac.
Yeah.
Same thing. You saw a lot of that during COVID, for example.
No.
No. Yeah.
No.
Most deadly virus we've ever seen in our entire lifetime, right? Yeah, for sure. Gosh, if somebody still believes that, they're lost at this point in time. But but yeah, the mental side of things is huge there. If you are somebody who is neurotic or very anxious and think about your pain all the time, you have an ache and you're thinking about it all the time, for example, instead of just going and training, sometimes that absolutely can be a detrimental thing to your increase of pain at that point in time because you're so focused on it mentally.
Right.
That happened at Health Source when I was there all the time. We had patients like that all the time who just would be like almost beating themselves up over the fact that they had pain. It's like, you got to give yourself some credit and give yourself a chance to even get out of pain at this point in time. You know what I mean?
It's all good. We can work on this problem.
It's your second visit.
Yeah.
At this point, like, whoa.
And we're not going to fix the issue in one visit.
100%.
Or in one workout or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to take time and you have to commit to that.
Yeah.
You just do. You have to commit to that. That's the biggest thing with really anything fitness related is commit to the damn thing. Okay? If you truly want to be pain-free, if you truly want to lose all this weight, if you truly want to gain all this muscle mass, then commit to it. And I think people are just, they're scared to do that because it looks daunting. It's like, what do you mean this is going to take 6 months? It's like, well, would you rather do this for 6 months, look better, feel better, be more confident, or would you rather live another 30 years miserably?
Exactly.
I mean, 30 years to 6 months, not so bad, right? So commit to it. That's the biggest thing.
That's so true, by the way. That is huge right there. By the way, on that same note with 6 months as well, 6 months is like a very reasonable timeline.
100%.
Considering, let's say it's somebody who's not taking care of their health for the last 10 years. You ruined your health over the last 10 years.
Right.
We're telling you 6 months.
Yes.
That's short.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
right.
we could tell you it's going to take the next 3 years at this point in time if you don't actually dedicate toward it. But if you dedicate toward it, it probably could take 6 months.
Exactly.
You know? So it's like, be realistic and be honest with yourself.
100%.
It's the same idea. Like, you and I are very honest with ourselves. Like, almost at least, I can think of like 2 or 3 times a year separately with each of us. Where I can remember we look at each other and just say, dude, I just haven't been on it the last couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I just haven't been on it.
Yeah.
And by the way, and I'll tell, and this is for me especially, like I'll tell you, I'm like, my back's paying the price right now. It's really been stiff the last 2 weeks. I haven't been working on my mobility. I've been missing my workouts, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm paying the price for it.
Yeah.
But it's honest. You know, like again, like that is us as trainers even being honest about it too to 100%. Ourselves. And you have to be as a client. It's like, okay, you tore down your health for the last 12 years. You tore down your health for the last 30 years. You tore down your health for the last 3 years. Be honest about that. Okay, yes, I did do that. But also then be honest that I can get out of this situation I'm in by with proper training, with following proper leadership during that as well, with proper diet, all that stuff. Be honest about that too.
Yeah.
So you have to be honest about both things. It's like, well, yeah, I take responsibility. I was slacking off big time the last 3 years.
I dug a giant hole.
Yeah, I dug myself a giant hole the last 20 years.
Well, let's build you a ladder to get out of it then.
Exactly. 100%.
It's as simple as that.
100%. Because it can be done. I mean, realistically, unless you're somebody who's just sabotaged your health up until you're like 20 to like, let's say like 70 years old or whatever, like there's issues. There's situations that are pretty major where it's like, well, you know.
Dude, we just saw that video, it was a couple of weeks ago. We saw this guy, he was like 600 pounds. And he literally was on camera. He's like, I was addicted to food. It's all I thought about. It's all I wanted to do. I wanted to just eat anything. The dude had a McDonald's bag, and I think he literally pulled out one of everything on the menu. Like, it just kept going. And he was 600 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
And he lost, what was it?
He was down to 230.
Yeah.
So he lost like 370 pounds.
Yeah.
Like that.
It was some ridiculous number. And it's like, obviously, that is the extreme of the extreme.
Yeah, don't let yourself get to that point, for the love of God.
Right. How that dude was even alive is also mind-blowing, by the way. Because I think he was in his 20s.
Yeah. When he was, oh, shoot. You're going to make me recall this video.
And like, it's okay. We don't need every single detail.
He had to have been like 26, 28 or something like that, or whatever it was. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
But this guy he weighed an enormous amount, and he lost all that. And like, it's amazing. It's amazing, because you see videos like that and you're like, why am I watching this? Like, this isn't productive in any way.
Especially at the start of it.
This guy,
because they didn't tell you that result was coming. Yeah.
Not at all. And then, it shows the result, and like, he's got tons of skin hanging off and all this type of stuff. And it looks crazy, but it's like, damn, dude, you just lost, 370 pounds or whatever it was. It was an extremely high number of
it was 300 plus pounds he lost for sure.
Yeah. Which is insane. So like, take that as it's possible. Again, that's probably the most extreme example. It's probably a top 5 in the world, most extreme example of weight loss.
Yeah.
But still, like, if you got to lose 20 pounds, commit to it. Just commit to it. Again, you dug yourself this hole. We can get out of it.
And by the way, that same thing shows for like cigarette smokers, for example, Wurtz. I mean, you got to think about that. Like, think about cigarette smokers who've been smoking for 25 years. They get clean within 2 years or whatever. Their lungs have cleared it out.
Yeah.
The body will do. Unbelievably resilient.
Yeah.
It's same thing with the liver. I mean, think about the liver with alcohol. You know what I mean? How it processes it and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then you give it a break for a year.
Right.
And it's like, oh, we're back.
Right.
I mean, my organs are healthier, et cetera.
Right.
And
that's not to say, like in those two examples, that you're going to be at 100% capacity with your liver and your lungs.
No.
But it's better than what they were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, at least you don't want to like die every single day the rest of your life at that point in time. Yeah.
Maybe you added five years to your life, for giving that up.
Yep, 5 more years with your kids, with your family, with your friends, all that stuff. Like, that's a huge deal.
Being able to live, of course. Yeah.
The mental side's key. It
sure.
It absolutely is in this scenario. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. And basically, it's just don't be neurotic about it.
Easier said than done.
You're going to notice it.
Yeah.
You're going to put some thought into that it's there, but don't feel like there's no way out is kind of the biggest takeaway there. So
agreed.
At the end of all of our non-guest episodes, Money Mitch over here will ask us a Q&A question. We have a few ways that we want you guys to submit those. Number one, you can DM them to us on Instagram at untapped.llp. You can DM them to us individually. You can text them to us as well if you have our numbers. You can email them to us. Our email is untappedllp@gmail.com. And finally, we are active on all the major social media platforms, so you can leave them in the comments of those questions there. These questions, guys, they can be about anything funny, health and fitness related, current event related, men's event related, whatever. It doesn't matter. They can be about anything. They all get sent over to Money Mitch, and then at the end of the episode, he will pick one out to ask at the end. Money Mitch.
What do you do when pain is too debilitating to work out?
Give up.
Wow. That's it?
I'm kidding. I take it back.
Well, and so when pain is too debilitating to work out, right?
Truly.
So that's, yeah. And it's just like you can't do any type of movement, you're saying here in the question.
I mean, you probably could push through it, but like if, your shoulder is effed up and like, anytime you do a push movement, it blows, I mean, it could be any number of things. I mean,
to be clear, I should have added this caveat at the start of the episode on this same question. Keep in mind, we are not physical therapists. We're not chiropractors. We are not sports medicine doctors. We are not orthopedic surgeons. We are not any of that stuff.
No.
So we are not attempting to give medical advice on this. This is
Not
our perspective on pain as trainers. Let's just make that very clear.
And, and a dolo as well.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
So pain too debilitating to do training. I mean, honestly, taking the shoulder example for one, I mean, the best way to do that is to still work around that with other movements, like pull movements, for example.
Mm-hmm.
A good one that, especially with shoulder stuff, that I work with clients is rear delt flies.
Yeah.
When you're coming back with the cables and squeezing the rear delts as you come back as well, because that's a great way to protect that shoulder as well and add muscle to the back of the shoulder. Rear delts are also probably one of the most, if not the most, forgotten about part of the shoulder.
For sure.
For whatever reason, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I guess just because it's the back of the body, you just don't think about it.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
I mean, honestly.
Or like maybe front raises and lateral raises are cooler.
Well,
I don't know,
When you look in a mirror, do you see the front or the back?
Right.
I mean, honestly. Though,
right.
I
mean, yeah, if you're a bodybuilder, like you notice if your shoulder's not as filled out, obviously. But if you're a regular person, you might not care if your shoulder's is filled out.
Sure.
So, yeah. And like, because the rear delt also does add to the rounding of the shoulder too. Yeah.
Perfect example of that exact situation that you just described is one of our current online clients who just graduated high school. He was a baseball player, was having shoulder issues, and he was giving me some feedback on what movements, because it wasn't so bad that he didn't want to work out or didn't want to do push movements. I said, okay, here's what we're going to try. I need you to evaluate the issue if it flares up, what movements cause that, where the pain is, and then we can make adjustments as needed. He did exactly that. He followed the plan, followed directions.
Sounds similar to last week's episode, or not last week's, 207 in general.
Yeah, crazy, right? And we made adjustments. And I think his sister is a PT as well. So like kind of in conjunction with what her advice was, we made adjustments. And guess what? The pain's gone. The pain's gone. Literally was talking to him this week. Said, how's the shoulder doing? He said, we're basically back to 100%.
Awesome.
Crazy how that works, right?
Good stuff.
So literally a current client of ours had that exact issue that you just described.
Yep.
And we got the problem, to this point right now, we're recording, we got the problem pretty much 100% fixed.
One of my in-person clients had a thing with her left forearm going on to where like anytime she do a pull movement, it would almost get pissed off every single time. Yeah. And we've worked around it enough to this point to where like pull-ups, for example, are extremely manageable for her, which is a huge change. So it's a good example there. Now, granted, if we're talking about the question of really debilitating, you know, like how debilitating are we talking?
Right.
You know, what area are we talking? If it's on the shoulder, you still need to train lower body.
100%.
You know what I mean? And you still need to find maybe pull movements you can work around with that don't aggravate it or exacerbate the problem there as well.
Talking about like lowering weights potentially,
100%.
The weight you use. If it only flares up when you're trying to max out, okay, well we can stay below that, and rather than going for that 8 to 10 RPE on that specific movement or that part of the body, we can stay at a 4 to 6 RPE and still get good quality work in.
Yes. I would also always say in the scenario too, if it's like a really debilitating situation and it's following the question here, then you should go see a chiro or a physical therapist for
100%.
sure. Like a movement-based one, like you said, one who is movement priority, especially as well. That in conjunction with a trainer you follow as well. That should happen. in this scenario. 100%.
And if your coach or trainer has the ability to be in contact with said chiropractor, PT, or whatever, even better.
Share information. 100%.
Even better.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a great example, actually. Like Tyler Forbes, the St. Louis physical therapist over at Iron Hive.
Mm-hmm.
Him and I worked with that lady with the forearm stuff,
Sure.
for example. Great example there.
Yeah.
Because it was just debilitating on pulling movements, and it was like annoying me and her to the point where it's like not annoying me at her, but just man, this is frustrating that we can't handle it, you know? And so that was in conjunction. Tyler and I worked with her on that, and it's made a huge difference.
Yeah.
So that's huge to actually share notes, so to speak, with a professional like that.
And staying on that note with sharing information, if you go to a chiro or a PT and they are like super against that, then it might be time to find a new one.
Yeah, if they're like scared of strength training, you probably shouldn't be working with that
one. Well, that, or if they're just like, no, you don't need to tell your trainer this. It's like, well,
that's concerning.
You should. You should tell your trainer that, because otherwise we could potentially jeopardize you and put you into further injury. So just to add to that.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like to even further add to it too. I mean, again, if we're talking,
one-up me, bro, that's crazy, bro. Made a good point.
To further make another good point along with Wurtz's point, to make two good points here at the same time. But to say that as well, it is key as well to recognize what the pain situation is too. I mean, if we're talking a real injury, you have a freaking torn ACL, you should not be working with a trainer at that point in time. I mean, if you're in that scenario and you're one of those people who needs rolling in your scooter and you still need to do your press movements on machines and your pull movements on machines, great. I'm all about that too.
Nick Tomjanovich right there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Poor guy, the deadlifting king, brought down by an ankle injury.
That's right. From a scooter.
Yes. Oh, gosh.
Also former guest.
Yes. Episode 189.
Great episode too.
He was awesome to have on for sure. The juice box.
Yes.
But yeah, obviously this should be a really clear thing where it's like debilitating enough. Just go to a professional in that scenario. 100%. Like that's not like the trainer is not going to help you with that type of injury. If you literally need to get a fusion on your spine of some sort, and it's that serious. Come on, Go to the spinal surgeon, go to the chiropractor, that type of stuff, and focus on that first. And if you can get walks in, great. Along the way too, you can get some light strength movements in, light dumbbell work, light machine work, awesome band work. Sure, yeah, great. It's still all beneficial there at the same time, as long as it's not exacerbating that area. 100% would be the scope of practice response there on our end of things for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like naturally as trainers, you deal with clients with aches and pains or injuries going on, and it's not as hard to work around it as you think, especially if you work with people in person as well. That's why you and I also say like you need to have some type of in-person experience, like preferably like that 3-year mark. You know what I mean? Like especially you had 3 years with the boys at Legacy and whatnot, and like that was phenomenal. If you're somebody who has like a year of in-person experience, it's like, well, you probably should have a little bit more.
Yeah, there's a lot you have not seen.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Especially like maybe go to a group class and train that a few hours a week or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that could be a good place for you to at least get some experience, because then have a lot of touch points too. You might have 20 people in a class you can talk to. Maybe 5 of them stay after and talk to you after the class. You chat with them, that type of stuff. And that's why just being an online coach and having 0 in-person experience, I would never recommend that 100%. At all. And I would never recommend a client working with a coach who has no in-person experience either as well. Point. That is extremely key. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, 100%. All right, guys, that is episode 208. As always, please share the show. It helps us a ton. It's free. It's easy. And we pretty much ask little to nothing of you guys. So please share the show for us. If you are interested in Untapped training on our app, please get a hold of us. We are more than willing, more than able to help you get the results that you want. Again, August 22nd, S2 St. Louis Customer Appreciation Barbecue. That is at the St. Peter's location from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Gentlemen, be on the lookout for another announcement of our next men's event. And that's all of our announcements right now. So, guys, until next time, peace and love.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.